been a pretty smooth road most of the time, with some bumps we had to get over with Ted Turner and his attempts to try to put the company out of business, and the Parents Television Council, and some of those kind of things. But in the main, it's a very professionally run organization, and with some great executives and great talent that support the organization.
Do you think when things like that happen with the PTC and Ted Turner, do you think that Vince takes that very personally, and he kind of takes the personal vendetta that that he's not going to take that he's not going to lose?
Well, I wouldn't say it was a vendetta. I mean, I think he's a very principled guy. I mean, when Turner was doing what he was doing, there was no question that Turner was, targeting the company and trying to put them under, and was taking the intellectual property of the WWE, which was their stock and trade. And when you get to the PTC, there really wasn't much question of what they were doing was incredibly unfair and defamatory, as was eventually shown by what we proved in that case, and they're ended up paying us millions of dollars for what they had done and issuing a very public retraction for the kind of things they had been saying. So I think what makes him different in those situations is not that he reacted. I mean, I think that's Vince. I mean, most people in those kind of situations might just say, heck with it, I'm not gonna bother. But he didn't. He wanted to make it right. And when we got into WCW, we found out all kinds of things about what they were doing, and created some interesting law that basically holds that the characters that the WWE created and depicts in these copyrighted works that it owns and possesses is really no different than Batman and Superman and the other characters that you see, and they're entitled to intellectual property protection such that you can't just take, for example, the Razor Ramon character or the Diesel character or those things that the company had created and just steal them. It'd be like stealing the Batman or Superman. We got legal precedent that protects the company from that kind of action.
In that instance where that was a very public revelation that WCW at that time was trying to portray, the Razor Ramon and the Diesel characters, do you put any onus on the performer themselves for not, having the sense to maybe shed the character, or is that something that WCW as an organization would have been fully responsible for?
I think it was WCW. I mean, look, Scott and Kevin are, back in the fold of the WWE. It's been a long history. They were very talented performers, and it's hard to blame them if you have somebody like a Turner coming and throwing the money at them that he was throwing at them, to not take it, not go along with it, that they would really have to be reliant upon the organization to tell them whether what they were doing was legal or not legal. So no, I don't blame them. We think it was all orchestrated at the highest levels of Turner, and the fascinating thing about it all was that at the end of the day, if you don't do the right thing, it ends up hurting you. And at the end of the day, after all is said and done, they ended up paying us an awful lot of money to settle that lawsuit, and then that money in turn was used a couple of years later to buy the assets of WCW. So it didn't help them much in the long run, and in the end, WWE ended up owning the film library, among other film libraries that they now have to show on the network.
But it was in 1995, it was an episode of WWF Superstars where it was a taped, pre-recorded, kind of just a quick, about 2.5-minute segment that Vince just came out and addressed a couple of the things that were going on at the time in terms of the New York Post and the articles that they were printing and kind of the vendetta that they had towards some of the attorneys representing the WWF at the time. But would Vince at that point come to you, since he had never shed the character before?
I honestly don't remember it. Whatever it was, we probably did talk about it, but I just am drawing a blank on what it was that he did or what it was that provoked him in '95 to to do that. I just don't recall.
Definitely an interesting light to see him under coming out and talking about, the WWF's business.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.